Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass have already proven their incompetence and poor leadership during the Los Angeles wildfires. Now, as we experience rampant lawlessness and civil unrest, it's never been more clear.
Tyrus.
What I saw,
Yeah.
what it looked to me like he was negotiating with a deaf prostitute.
Picture this. Mel Gibson storms in like he's auditioning for Mad Max Governor's Edition. Tyrus isn't far behind, strutting in like he just left a WWE SmackDown. And poor Gavin Newsom, he's suddenly the main course at a roast nobody RSVP'd to. This wasn't just a political jab, it was a full-on verbal cage match. These two didn't politely disagree. They basically sent Newsom a Dear John letter with extra sarcasm, zero chill, and a whole lot of cinematic flair. This isn't politics as usual. It's what happens when Hollywood chaos collides with heavyweight real talk. Buckle up, because what's coming next makes reality TV look like a church bake sale.
Turmoil. And I asked my fellow Angelinos, why are Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass still in office? How much more of their destructive decision-making masquerading as leadership are we going to tolerate? It's time to take back our community and our state and put the power and the privilege in the hands of competent leaders whose goals are to protect us and the way of life this nation was founded.
Before we dive headfirst into the madness, hit that like button and subscribe. Trust me, you don't want to miss this. Mel Gibson has never been the guy who quietly sips tea in the corner. He's the guy who kicks down the door, flips the table, and tells you the tea is poisoned while glaring straight into your soul. And this time, the target of his unfiltered fire isn't a warlord, a corrupt priest, or a Roman general. It's Gavin Newsom, aka California's walking shampoo commercial, who somehow thinks slick hair and smug sound bites make up for an entire state falling apart.
Back and watch the tape.
Yes.
He literally goes, I want some of this, then you do some of this, and I'll do some of that back to you, and then we'll do this, and then I'll pay you, and then we'll do it again.
True.
And then she kept saying, no. Okay, how about this? You do this one first, then we do this one, then we give a little back and forth.
Yep, we're talking about California's governor, the man who looks like he was carved from marble by someone who only had access to hair gel and hubris. But now he's being pulled into a storyline so outrageous, even Hollywood wouldn't dare script it. Gibson plays the chaos grenade, Tyrus is the anvil, and together they formed the ultimate tag team, not just calling Newsom out, but shredding his image so thoroughly that he ends up looking like an unpaid extra in his own political soap opera. And you know it's bad when your sharpest critics aren't fellow politicians, but a Hollywood legend and a wrestling commentator who looks like he eats campaign speeches for breakfast.
Tyrus, did he leave out anything? I think there's about 100 other reasons too.
Well, it's not his words when he speaks.
Yeah.
You have to watch him closely. And some genius decided not to film him any lower than the shoulder.
Yes, did you? Yes.
So what did he do?
You couldn't see the hands.
No, but he sent Morse code.
So why is Newsom getting flame-grilled in the public square? Simple. He's running California like it's a busted amusement park, where the roller coasters are broken, the bathrooms are locked, and they still charge you $50 for parking. And while the state falls apart, Newsom's out there polishing his smile like it's a Super Bowl trophy. Mel and Tyrus have apparently seen enough of the circus. But instead of just throwing shade, they built a total eclipse and parked it over Sacramento with enough sarcasm to power the grid.
Governor Gavin Newsom and LA Mayor Karen Bass, well, they were also suggesting that LA was under control. They had it covered while, of course, LA was essentially burning. And they've been blaming Donald Trump for all the chaos in LA, while Gavin Newsom has been trying to emerge as the strong leader of the Democrats as he eyes off the presidency in 3 years' time. But actor Mel Gibson has spoken out, blasting the governor and the mayor, rightfully so, for their disastrous leadership.
Mel Gibson's beef is clear as day. He spent decades surrounded by Hollywood phonies who faked sincerity to climb the ladder. So when he sees Newsom playing the golden boy of progressive politics while his state burns behind him, It's like handing a flamethrower to a pyromaniac. Gibson roasts him with laser focus. No fluff, no filters. Tyrus, meanwhile, comes in like a freight train made of sarcasm, busting through the political nonsense without slowing down. This isn't just about leadership flaws, it's about how Newsom struts around like a presidential hopeful with the slickness of a daytime soap actor. Meanwhile, real-life Californians are watching their cities turn into open-air dystopias where basic necessities are locked behind glass and tent cities compete with coffee chains for sidewalk space. Gibson's fed up, and Tyrus is just getting started.
Yeah.
He's negotiating with the deaf prostitute.
Yeah.
Let's just stick with that.
Yeah.
More likely.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people have been coming out and calling out, Gavin Newsom endlessly, and the biggest one of all is Mel Gibson. We all know that he is a very big, open critic of Gavin Newsom, and he continues to actually do that, and rightfully so, because we already know that there's a lot of issues going on right now within the state of California.
Picture it. Mel points out the chaos. Tyrus smirks and doubles down, and Newsom stands there like a prom king who just got his crown stolen. The humiliation isn't just in the critique, it's in how devastatingly funny it is. When a Hollywood icon and a wrestling powerhouse join forces to mock your political career, you know your image has officially entered meme territory. California's become the political version of a pothole-ridden road, expensive to fix, painful to drive on, and completely ignored by the guy who's supposed to maintain it. And the best part? Gibson isn't sugarcoating anything. He's throwing cinematic-sized insults like he's directing a sequel to Braveheart, Bureaucracy Edition. Tyrus is the hype man, nodding along while dropping elbow-smash punchlines. Together, they're not just criticizing. They're dragging Newsom under a spotlight so bright it makes a red carpet look a basement.
Mel Gibson lost his house in these wildfires. And what you just saw there was an effort to recall the governor and Mayor Bass. Does his star power in this matter?
It matters in the sense we're playing it now on national television on a highly rated Fox and Friends First show, and that has gone viral on social media. And meanwhile, the same day that Mel Gibson says what he says there, and he's correct on so many things as far as the management of wildfires, Gavin Newsom's approval on the handling of the wildfires is only 30%. Wow.
Instead of stepping into the role of a national leader, Newsom is now playing the villain in someone else's roast special, and not the cool kind of villain either. We're talking Scooby-Doo level. Pull off the mask and it's just some random dude scamming the town kind of villain. The tragedy here is that Newsom genuinely thought he was auditioning for the presidency, but Mel and Tyrus rewrote the script and cast him as the comic relief. He walks around like the lead in a political Netflix drama, but all we're seeing is a guy combing his hair while potholes reproduce like spring rabbits. When even Mel Gibson looks at California and says, "Nah, that's too dark," you know you've crossed into parody territory. And Tyrus is there with the finishing move, calling it what it is, a disaster in hair gel.
You can watch it. Look at the blinking. Blink, look. Meet me at the house. Like, he's blinking. He's sending, I'm getting there. Hey, just so you know, I'm not wearing pants.
Ew.
And then, look, he's blinking. And then eventually, the camera guy realizing that he's signaling him, so he gets appalled, leans back, camera comes down, and then we're back to this. I'll do this for you. You do this for me a little. So he's saying whatever he's going to say. There it is. See? They couldn't hold him back. He's like, I'm not on film. Oh, I'm not. Nope.
What really makes this roast hit different is how Newsom probably thought he was untouchable. Politicians expect pushback from other politicians, or maybe a late-night host dropping a couple of lazy punchlines. But when Mel Gibson sets his sights on you with the subtlety of a car chase explosion, and Tyrus follows up with a verbal body slam, suddenly this isn't about policy anymore. It's about absurdity. Newsom acts like he's ready for the Oval Office while running a state that feels more like a reality show set in a survivalist wasteland. California used to be the land of dreams, movies, beaches, sunshine. But under Newsom, it's turned into a theme park ride called The Collapse. And the only ride that still works? The one taking you out of state. Gibson sees the illusion. Tyrus calls the bluff. And suddenly, Newsom's Hollywood smile starts to look more like a blooper reel.
Well, speaking of full of isn't it? I'm sorry, I'm confused. He's still governor, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So he could do something about it. That's the most irritating thing, is like, why did anyone say with a follow-up where he's like, the homeless situation is ridiculous? Follow-up question, aren't you the governor?
Yeah.
Like, that's the difference. That's the difference between the radical left and President Trump. He'll talk about something as it's...
When your public image starts crumbling under the weight of hair product and half-truths, what's left? For Newsom, it's the illusion of control wrapped in a blow-dried package. This roast hits golden because it exposes what's always been there, an over-polished politician who thinks style can cover up for substance. He's the knockoff designer bag of leadership. Looks slick from a distance, falls apart when tested. Sure, he survived scandals before. The lockdown dinners, the empty promises, the slick speeches that sound like rejected TED Talks. But when Mel Gibson, Hollywood's unofficial king of chaos, decides you're the punchline, and when Tyrus backs it up with heavyweight mockery, that's not just critique, it's a dismantling. And the timing couldn't be worse. Just as Newsom was polishing up those presidential ambitions, these two came in and turned his big debut into a roast so savage, it should have had a laugh track.
How much more of their destructive decision-making masquerading as leadership are we going to tolerate? It's time to take back our community and our state and put the power and the privilege in the hands of competent leaders whose goals are to protect us and the way of life this nation was founded upon and promises to offer. That's all.
And don't expect the humiliation to fade. Gibson and Tyrus didn't just take shots. They built a whole blueprint for how to dismantle the Newsom illusion. No need for boring debates or policy breakdowns. All you need is a sharp tongue, brutal honesty, and a sense of humor. The emperor isn't just naked. He's covered in overpriced hair gel and delusion, and now the whole country sees it. Gibson doesn't even have to try hard. He's seen better performances in straight-to-DVD action flicks. Tyrus treats Newsom's presidential hopes like a comedy skit, except the laugh track is real, and it's everywhere. He doesn't just shut the idea down. He picks it up, pile drives it into the pavement, and flexes on top of it.
He's playing with us. Meet me at my house. You get mine. I get yours. It'll work out.
Paul, are they capable of soul searching? It feels like the party itself has no soul.
Yeah, I know, they have no soul. You know, it's a really interesting statement. If you just kind of, you can break it in two. He spends the whole first part of that saying, we lost because this. Essentially what he says is, folks, we were on the wrong side of every issue last.
To Tyrus, the idea of Newsom running the country is like letting the guy who crashed the golf cart fly the space shuttle. Sure, it might be funny for 5 seconds, but then you're just bracing for disaster. Newsom's resume is basically a highlight reel of California's biggest failures. And his strategy? Keep looking polished and hope nobody notices the mess. It's like trying to pass a spelling test by writing your name in glitter. Gibson sees straight through the facade. He's been in enough battles, on screen and off, to spot a poser from a mile away. Tyrus doesn't even waste time dressing it up. He calls it what it is, a bad act that wouldn't last 5 seconds on a reality show audition. And just imagine Newsom on a presidential debate stage. While seasoned political brawlers bring heat, he's off to the side practicing his smirk and hoping for flattering lighting. It's so miscast, it feels like satire. The timing couldn't be worse either. He's been testing the waters, smiling for swing states, and staging his image for a national run. But now, Gibson and Tyrus have him in a comedy chokehold, and there's no escape. If he fires back, he loses. If he stays quiet, the roast echoes louder. Either